Welcome to 5 Talents Africa. Our topic today is toxic workplace signs that affect career growth and profitability. Let us look at workplace culture and leadership. A workplace is where work is done, and this can be an office, salon, or a football field. The behavior of those who work in these places is known as culture and is determined by their leaders. These are the vision bearers of the organization, whose role is to develop effective operational structures and systems. Rarely do leaders set out to create dysfunctional entities, and toxic environments evolve over time. The signs of toxic workplaces are like thick films. It spread very fast and negatively affect productivity. Demotivated staff become lethargic and lose interest in developing themselves, and less revenue is generated. Work is neglected or done poorly and at a snail's pace, and gradually this becomes the norm at the workplace. There is no harmony nor cohesion in toxic workplaces. It is a dangerous and harmful environment that affects employees and their careers, as well as the company's objective to succeed. Milestones keep changing. Many people suffer in such circumstances, and this situation can affect one mentally and physically, since we spend many hours at work, whether virtually from home or physically on site. Who is responsible for creating toxic workplaces? Both management and employees can contribute to a toxic workplace. In some institutions, leaders do not inspire their workforce because they do not lead by example and are not role models. Employees also have different backgrounds, and some lack basic manners. Some workplaces have experienced cases of staff engaging in physical fights and other forms of abuse. Signs of toxic workplaces show up in different forms. Some staff members are favored, and recognition is unfair and not based on merit. This breeds unhealthy competition. Some supervisors set unrealistic targets, which leads to burnouts. Cases of frustrated staff yelling at each other rise. Colleagues send nasty emails to each other, which is not a good show of decorum or maturity. It may not sound real, but this happens in toxic workplaces. People find no meaning at work and become suspicious of each other. Laxity creeps in and affects the organization's overall performance. Due to lack of trust, staff begin to gossip and engage in subtle fights to outshine each other. Tension makes the once harmonious environment so toxic that commute to work each day becomes a toil. Some immature groups literally stop talking to each other unless they must. Such workplaces experience delays and missed deadlines. In this situation, teamwork ceases to exist at the workplace. In some cases, unwise leaders threaten and bully staff, which leads to fear and withdrawals. Poor communication creates unclear structures, duties are duplicated, and there is no accountability whatsoever. Careers stagnate due to unresolved issues. This occurs because the workforce spends so much time on non-productive matters and neglects core duties. Effects of toxic workplaces affect staff welfare. They start reporting late often, some deliberately absent themselves, and others fall sick or feign illnesses due to their inability to cope with stress. Those who take alcohol may increase their intake and engage in reckless behavior, thus affecting their health. Turnover rates slowly start rising as a result of resignations as they seek better options elsewhere outside their workplace. Toxic workplace signs lead to tough decisions. Choices must be made on whether to save the organization or careers. Shareholders' priority will be to save the company, and some employees' priority will be to save themselves. These decisions lead to resignations, terminations, and hiring of new staff. This is because when the root cause is discovered, some staff must be terminated, others leave by themselves, and some are retained. You have now seen how toxic workplaces are harmful, and successful organizations have zero tolerance for toxic people. They focus on creating strong teams and effective systems and processes. This is done by an ethical and visionary leadership, teamwork, non-discrimination, and people have the freedom to create, share ideas, and their careers grow. This brings us to the end of our tutorial today. Thank you for listening. If you have learned something today, like and share to benefit others. You can also subscribe to get our weekly tutorials.